MANDELBROT by Lionel Walfish. The problem, it seemed, was old Sam Hubsky's snoring. It wasn't as troubling to adjacent apartment neighbors when Mrs. Hubsky was alive. She had devised a concoction that would give her husband a more restful sleep, an old Bulgarian recipe of sheep entrails mixed with exotic herbs, simmered for a fortnight in a large double boiler. But now, Mrs. Hubsky had passed. The next-door neighbors on either side and across from the Hubsky apartment, in a pre-World War I fabrication located in an older section of Brooklyn, New York, were livid and beside themselves. Sam's snoring was causing them sleepless nights, and all the banging on the old tenement walls proved useless. Sam Hubsky was almost totally deaf. One dreary winter morning, as Sam was deciding whether to go out for his morning constitutional to the park, he opened his front door to retrieve his daily newspaper from the hallway. Next to the newspaper, leaning against the wall, was a small food hamper. Sam picked up the hamper and newspaper and closed the apartment door. Walking back to the kitchen, Sam slowly opened the wooden-handled hamper. It was full of MANDELBROT. It was his favorite kind, filled with nuts and whole wheat cookie. But who could have prepared such a delicious treat for him? Was it Mrs. Gruber, that sweet little lady who lived in the apartment above him? Perhaps it was Rhonda Dutch, across the hall. She'd always been so helpful to his wife with the shopping. Or could it have come from those two nice young men who'd recently moved into the apartment next door? There was no card or letter of identification. Alas, Sam Hubsky could eat none of the tasty goodies, having lost all of his teeth a few years back, and not being able to afford a set of gleaming cheaters that he'd often seen advertised on his old console television set in the living room. He was resigned to mushy foods and canned soups. Sam pondered what to do next. He didn't want to appear ungrateful by putting the hamper back in the hallway, and it would seem such a shame to throw all that lovely MANDELBROT in the garbage. Suddenly, Sam grabbed his coat. He decided to go out and take the hamper with him. He knew what he would do. When Sam opened his door the next morning, he reached down for the newspaper and carried it into the kitchen. He poured himself a cup of coffee, sat down, and stared blankly at the headline at the bottom of the front page. Hundreds of birds found dead in Central Park.